Hey everyone, good evening. It's almost the end of the week. I want to introduce you to a fantastic speaker that we have on today. But welcome to another show of Connections by TalentStore. So today we're going to be talking about, you know, immersive experiences, game-based learning, a way to kind of drive learning engagement and learning retention. So today we have a fantastic speaker. Her name is Geeva Samynathan, and she's a corporate trainer, has been in the field for many years, and over the years she's kind of adapted different tools and skill sets to help engage participants. So I just wanted to have a very casual chat with her to kind of get some insight of how things have changed over the years, and then we can continue to explore stuff as we go through our conversation. So welcome, Jiva, to our show. Glad to have you part of the show.
Hi, Arun. Thanks for having me for this evening. I'm so excited to share my experience with all of you today.
Right, thanks. Yeah, so let's get right into it. We wanted to kind of get your sense, I think, firstly, from your experience in corporate training, right? And based on the last few years, doing corporate training, I wanted to get a sense from you, from a participant standpoint, how things have evolved, right? Maybe you can just start off by sharing when you got involved in corporate training, how long has it been, how has that shift been for you?
Right. Okay, thanks, Arun. Okay, I probably would start off by saying that how long have I been in the corporate training? And I think it has been over 10 years, or maybe even a little bit more. Just can't really remember how old it has been. Okay, so having started with that, conventionally, everybody liked to come for a training because it's a time to get away from workplace. That
Yep.
was a concept originally. Come, get away from workplace. I can have some fun. It is, of course, good food. Let's not forget about that. It's good food, good makan time, and we get to learn something, we got to have some activity, and people really liked it. And that model worked, because you
Okay.
got to get to watch video a little bit, you got to have some games a little bit, you got to have some group section activities, used to work. And that model was actually appreciated even by the organizations, because it was a great tick. Yeah, I came
Sure.
back, I had a good learning, it a 2 days learning. Yeah, everything was good. But it stopped then. So I think both the client and both the participants enjoy it. As a trainer, and as a trainer, you go and prepare yourself for presenting for the 2 days, and it
Yep.
ends there as well. So it was then, it worked in the past, but maybe I'm not so sure if that is the way today. Things may have shifted. Yeah,
Yep.
just a little
Ha-
bit more different today.
Okay, but obviously I know that the pandemic has changed a lot of things. I think even from the participants' perspective, their expectations has also changed, right? So when you look at the typical participant that used to attend trainings maybe 8 years ago to the trainings that you do today, what do you think has changed from their expectation from the participant side first?
Right. I think from the participant side, they wanted
Mm,
something easy for them to navigate, something for them to quick to understand. Because you see, let's take from, like, if you and I are participants today, or even you and I are scrolling something on a social media today, how long
yeah,
is our attention span? It
sure.
quickly moves on, because we've got our WhatsApp, Telegram, we've got our emails, or we've got just so many things. So I think from the participants' point of view, also, I what I foresee is they wanted something new, something very engaging, something that can get them connected, in fact, at the soonest time as possible.
Yeah,
And this is more so shifting, more so because we have got people from the diversity group of age in the organization today. So everybody's working at a different speed, everybody wanted different things, everybody had a different wave, or the energy of learning as well. So
right.
things has moved, it is different. So in simple word, people were looking for, can I get something blended? Can I get a little bit of this? Can I get a little bit of that? That was a
Sure.
kind of interest that was actually slowly beginning to start. Maybe I can share with you, during the year of pandemic itself, I had an opportunity to do a program for one of the clients, and it was the first time both for myself and for the client to actually do an online training. Now,
Yep.
at the initial, probably for the first two hours, everybody was more stuck, especially from the participant point of view. Am I getting the systems right? Am I going to learn anything? There was rejection at first,
Yep.
but I think when we finished the complete module, when we had we had sessions, we had a few sessions together, then people understand this is the new way in learning, and it's not too bad after all. Yeah.
Yep. No, I completely agree. I think even for us, we saw that participants kind of just went along with it, right? They understood the kind of the shifting circumstances, and they kind of ran with it, right? And I think the participants that I've interacted with are very flexible. They understand that there is a need to have this kind of balance. And sometimes they didn't realize that option existed in the past, right? Where you could have these hybrid options, flexible options. Now, shifting gear, right, a little bit in terms of the clients, right? So we interact a lot with clients specifically. And in terms of their perspective, how do you think it's evolved over your last 10 years, right? Obviously, I do expect that the clients have matured for sure. But do you have like specific examples of how you think that shift has taken place?
All right. I think from clients' point of view, they like to hear from us like what's new.
Right.
I mean, if you hear the way things are moving today, things are changing every other second, every other moment, and I
Sure.
don't think any one of us are able to keep up. And so are the clients. So
Sure.
sometimes they expect us to come back to tell to them, hey, this is new. We have this in market. We have got blended learning. We have got virtual learning setup. We have got simulations coming up. Those
Yes.
kind of things. Because for them, maybe I can just speak from the point of Malaysia, because perhaps maybe
Yep.
we have not been exposed enough of it. Maybe if you speak from another country point of view, or then they have already had this kind of
That exposure.
digital learning, probably something. In fact, even learning on your own to earn your merits and points, also that has already been in place. But we are far, far away from that in the past.
Mm.
No, we're slowly catching up.
Yeah.
So from the client's point of view, what I felt is they needed to hear from us. Is this available? Is this already available? Do you have it? What is your success rate? How many clients have used it? Because you see, there was uncertainty whether is this new learning model, is it going to work? Because everybody has gone comfortable with the conventional way, the classroom way. But then I think adaptability is so important in the
Mm-hmm.
new dimension. Adaptability, when we're talking, and I'm going to go back to this topic again. Adaptability is so important because today we're working with people of 4 different generations. We got to be
Sure.
able to cater for the new generation. The learning method has shifted. And also the other thing that, as I said earlier, people's attention span period is also not as long, do not have long period of time. So people need blended, needing variety, needing to know how I can learn things from different ways as well.
Got it. No, yeah, completely. I think that's exactly why when we started in the L&D space, we didn't want to be in the workshop space where you're presenting the traditional format where you have slides and the information process flow goes from the trainer to the participant. We wanted to get involved in immersive digital simulations that are gamified so that that immersive experience is kind of built, so it drives the learning engagement and the retention mostly. That was what we had kind of put as our main priority when we developed our sims. um, and some that kind of leads me on to the next question. Especially over the pandemic, I think there has been quite a shift in terms of the formats that we have in the learning and development space. What kind of interesting formats have you been interacting with clients, with participants? What's your take on it? Does it work? How does it work potentially? Like, how do you kind of frame it so that it adds value to the client?
Okay, I think one of my experience, when I had an opportunity to work with you all as well, the online simulations has just
Yep.
been brilliant. Those are, it may seem like participants are actually sitting in front of a computer, trying to run a case study on their own, trying to come into a solution,
Yep.
trying to get the best sales for the organization. It may seem like a very solo practice, but what is really happening is because they are able to actually look into the situation, how to actually improve the processes, not just in terms of how much of revenue they can bring into the organization, but how they can also at the same time handle people at different levels. Because you see, bringing revenue alone is just not enough. We got to see how we're going to manage people
Of
with
course.
different behaviors, people with different strength. And this online simulation encourages people to think from that model as well. Now, if you were to sit and compare, I'm going to compare this with a classroom scenario. Yes, we are
Yep.
able to do that. We are able to debate together. We are able to see face-to-face interaction. But sometimes the little pause taking away for you to think at your self levels and able to actually produce the result, and later speaking at a group level, also brings an extra learning for each other. So, and I think some of the projects we have worked together, and I realized participants that come up to say, "Oh, I never know this was possible. I didn't realize, I didn't think from this model, or I didn't saw his weaknesses, or I now realize his strength." Because I think the debrief and the reports that we generate helps people to study better, because in a deeper analysis way to say that, where they could actually manage their strength better, and where they could have been a little bit more moderate or even less as well.
Sure. I mean, yeah, exactly. I think the main selling point, I think, for any simulation is that real-time feedback loop, right? So when you do a traditional training workshop, it's a lot of information flow that is absorbed by the participant. But in simulations, you can apply your understanding of a certain skill, and you can get that immediate feedback, right? It's as though you're playing a game, right? If you play one of the traditional B2C games like FIFA, you kind of make certain moves, you see a result straight away, so you are learning and adapting to the situation during the game itself, right?
Absolutely.
So you can apply, learn, and then you can pivot if you need to, if something is not working, and you can kind of derive the result that you're looking for, like, at the end of the day. So that's why we think that games, gamified solutions have a way to make that experience feel a little bit real, like in a real life setting. But then you feel like you're very safe, right? You know it's a simulated experience. If you make a mistake, it's not going to cost you like it does in
Anything.
real life. Right?
Yes.
But you can at least apply what you learn in a simulated experience and see the outcome, right?
And also because the added point is it's fun.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so people know they're going to learn something, at the same time they know they're going to have fun from all the things they did during the simulation. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we have to be able to keep them entertained, but also, engaged, right? I think that's the biggest. Somebody told me recently that attention is the new oil, right? It's one of the biggest commodities out there, right? It's that attention span of people. So how do you keep them engaged so that they are learning and retaining, right? So when they go back, when they talk to their teams, they see, oh, this is very similar to the game I played. It's just now in real life, and the decisions and the outcomes may be longer. You won't see something if immediately, but at least you can relate it, right? Rather than it being of a slide or something like that, right?
I think one of the clients, sorry, just to interject, I think one of the clients that we were working on last year, I think one of the participants said, by doing this simulation, I now realize in that real case scenario that I had in my workplace, he said, I didn't realize I could have handled it this way. And it was a really good feedback. Very good feedback. And when the team get together, they say, we could have really worked this way. Why didn't we think? So I think the simulation actually not help you just to work on that scenario at that point of time. It helps you navigate situation in the real life workplace as well.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, that's a great feedback, because I think that's exactly why simulations were created, like to simulate situations in real life. And the fact that he or she could actually relate it is 100% a validation point for why simulations should exist in L&D, right? We're going to go for a very short break. We have Darren, who's joined the thing. So thanks, Darren, for supporting us. As always, I think this is one of our regular guys that come and view our live sessions. I'm going to break very shortly. In the next 1 or 2 minutes, you're going to kind of see one of the latest products that we have, which is called Inside Risk. Fantastic program. We're actually running a public program on June 7th. And this is a really immersive experience based on a real life story. So I'm not going to give away too much. I want you guys to watch the trailer, and we will be back after the 1 or 2 minute break.
This is not another TV series or masterclass. This is not about hearing some theories about leadership development or crisis management. This is a groundbreaking approach to experiential learning, where you learn through tough practice. In this journey, you will step into the shoes of TV5 Monde CEO Yves Bigot. On the night of April 15, 2015, the network fell victim to one of the most brutal cyber attacks ever led against a media group. Immersed in the story as Yves, you will see how and why he made his decisions during the attack, and you will be asked to face the same choices yourself. You will experience game-changing ideas from best-selling books and the most advanced research, allowing you to deploy these ideas in the context of your own life and professional environment. And you will benchmark yourself against your peers and against Eve himself. Ready? I'll see you very soon.
All right. So we are back, and I hope you guys enjoyed that little snippet. This is a fantastic program that we are running next month. And, I don't think there is a comparable product out there that really brings you into a real life story that's happened in the past. So we are very excited about that launch. Hopefully you can be part of it. If you're interested, always reach out to us, right? So Geeva, I just want to get back into it. We were kind of speaking about immersive gamified solutions before the break. I wanted to get your sense in terms of how do you think clients should look at these kind of different formats and how they could potentially run them as part of their curriculums, right? What do you think has worked better in your experience?
I think at this point of time, it's good to say there is a small percentage or maybe slightly bigger at this year. Clients are looking into some kind of an online learning. So I think the word that is still going out in their mind is the word online learning. But
Right.
I think maybe in terms of gamification is already probably of that. Maybe online simulation or the program you just introduced, the Inside Race, is another fabulous program. I think people are slowly getting an idea of it, but not still getting the hang of it yet. So I think this needs to be slowly or strongly introduced to clients to make them recognize there is value in this kind of learning as well. Because the feedbacks that we have received is such because it helped them to think better from their normal way or in a classroom environment, or probably able to help them to help situation. They have able to help to navigate situation better. The other thing is, how is it in a crisis situation? They know what to say, when to say, and how to say. At the same time, handle their people at the same time. I think that's a very important point. Whatever situation we are in, the people is the most important asset of us. How do we still keep them, manage them, at the same time manage their emotion as well? So the program of the Insider is, whoever is out there listening to this, I think this is the one important criteria of the program. It is where you have not experienced before. I think most organizations should come in to actually experience this, because this could be a missing component in most of the learning environment today.
Yeah.
That's probably my take, Arun.
No, yeah. I mean, the way we usually work with some of our partners to deliver gamified solutions to kind of embed them into a longer or a more long-term kind of strategy, right? So there are kind of a hybrid approach to the frameworks that they go through, right? Because there would be certain elements of training that are very traditional, and they should be, because maybe some of the content is very functional. It needs to be communicated in a certain way. And then you kind of embed different formats like simulations, virtual simulations or digital. Then you have simulations like Inside Risk, which is completely different. And so there's a variety, right? So for participants, they feel that there is always additional value throughout their journey, right? And I think
that would work very well, because I think you're giving an opportunity for them not just to learn just on the learning process, just like face-to-face learning. You're giving them opportunity for start learning as well on the online simulations as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's at the end of the day is how we are creating value, right, for participants. Right? Yeah. So that's a fantastic segue for the last question, and I think this is kind of a wrap up, and to kind of get your perspective in the training industry in Malaysia or in the countries that you've served. Where do you see the future going to? Like, if you had a crystal ball and you went 5 years into the future, where do you think the training market will evolve to, right? And how do trainers play a role in that kind of transformation?
Right. I think this is not an easy question. I would rather say it's a tricky question, because things are moving so fast, even at this point of time that we're speaking, right? Yeah. But I think the way forward is variety. Is the only way forward to learn. And I think this will actually continuously keep people engaged. But I think it's a variety that we need to continuously develop. right? Because this variety eventually can get replaced, so I think from the trainer's point of view or from the training provider's point of view, I think what is needed is continuously providing variety from not just from the conventional learning process, how to embed everything together so that it becomes a one big piece of learning. And I think
Sure.
that is the only way forward to keep people engaged, excited, and also to keep themselves to say that I'm really excited to come for training, because I think as some of the experience that sometimes when I hear from participants, they say, what, I'm here because my manager asked me to be here. Geeva, it better be really good. I said, you're going to be so surprised because it's not going to be the conventional way of learning. You're going to be stuck here doing so many different things, and I know you're going to go think that this is one of the best ones. So I think variety is the only way forward. I know we're not going to be able to keep up with the world, but I think what we can do is, if as a trainer or as a training provider, I think what you can do, if you always provide varieties, telling them different dimensions and design ways of actually improvising the training process, I think that would excite the people as well. And that's a nail, keeping them engaged.
No, yeah, definitely. I think that's really, I think even with technology, I think you can't 100% replace that human to human kind of interaction.
Definitely,
and
yes.
Yeah, and that, that intrinsic knowledge transfer that happens between human beings, right? So I feel that a trainer and training companies will always have value. It's just how they communicate that clearly to clients, right? Because a lot of the more mundane stuff will be automated. ChatGPT is coming in and changing the way we are, creating slides. Everything changes, right, so quickly. So I think they will become a little bit more higher value in terms of looking at how can we coach, how can we really make tweaks to people to make them a lot more efficient, a lot more productive, right? Where the base content might be auto-generated or it's AI generated, whatever it may be. But I think that human-to-human connection will always remain, right?
I think that's the most important element.
Yeah, exactly. In the end of the day, it comes down to that physical interaction between people, right? Yeah. And that's probably the one thing that they take away and still remains with them throughout their careers or their lives, right? Yes. Right. So yeah, so thanks, Geeva, for today's session. It's a fantastic session. I hope people enjoyed it, like they got some value from it. And always reach out to us, if you want to know more, to learn about Geeva, myself, what we do. Feel free to always reach out to us, right? So thank you everyone for tuning in for today's session. This was a pleasure, and hopefully you have a great weekend ahead. See you next week.
Bye everyone.